Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We thank you so much. This is a brand new review. We're excited about all things business book review. It's our kickoff, and we'll be back here next week as well. But we're so excited. We're going to be talking about Napoleon Hill's book, the author of Think and Grow Rich. His book was called Outwitting the Devil, that was written and not exposed in 1938. And now it's out and is relevant to today. Today on the call, we got a couple of great people. We got Miss Kathryn Williams from Sacramento, California. They'll be going with the book with us. Mr. Bob Myers from Reno. We got Harrison Mills from Fresno. We got Miss Jackie Black as well. And I'm so excited about having these folks on the call tonight. And with that said, we're going to go into the book and interview the chapters. And we're going to go through the first 1, 2, or 3 chapters of the book. So as we go through the book, everybody's already read the book, and we want to give you guys what we got out of the book, and maybe you can pick the book up and get some great things out of it as well. So I'm going to go through chapter 1, and one of the first things I'm going to talk about in chapter 1 on page 2, Napoleon Hill talks about how the schools and colleges teaches us practical everything except the principles of individual achievements. So in other words, good education, but not how to succeed in life. So with that said, I want to get a comment from our guest panel tonight. I want to start off with Ms. Kathryn Williams in Sacramento. What did you get out of that particular passage?
That particular passage reminded me of the requirements to get out of high school and college for mandatory courses, which I've never used in my professional career as an RN. And it was like, when I was in college, I was spending over $1,000 a semester in the 70s. And some of those classes I went, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, I got you. Mr. Bob Myers, what did you get out of that?
Well, I think he's absolutely right that, school is designed to make you into an employee, to follow this regiment. It really doesn't let you expand on your knowledge, doesn't give you the base where you can actually build multiple streams of income and improve your life, not somebody else's life.
Very good. Mr. Harrison Mills in Fresno, what did you get out of that passage?
I'm going to just say the first thing for everyone else, Harrison, Fresno here, and say the same thing. Your money, and to the point where now it puts you in debt along with it. Not only did you not get anything out of it, but now I had to pay you for something I didn't get a chance to actually take advantage of.
Great. Miss Jackie Black in Connecticut, what did you get out of that reading?
Yes, good evening. I'm Jackie Black from Connecticut, and I agree with the other 3 individuals with what they said. You spend all this money, you taking classes that you really don't use later, plus they do not teach you to be an entrepreneur. They teach you to be an employee. And that's the thing, that going to school, that's what you get out of it. And then later on, you become an entrepreneur and say, gee, I spent all that money and I could have put it somewhere else.
Exactly. That's very good. I'm going to skip over to page 5, the second half of the page. It said, most real failures are due to limitation, which men set up in their own minds. If they had the courage to go out one step further, they should discover their errors. Anybody want to get a comment on that? Let's start off with you, Miss Kathryn Williams. What did you get out of that?
Self-doubt and self-sabotage. It goes back to the previous comment. We're not taught to use our brains. And once you get out of school, most people don't pick up another book. So therefore, the brain's never stimulated.
That's very true. We stop learning after school and not picking up further education for ourselves. Mr. Bob Myers, what did you get out of that passage?
Well, I really got out of it that, if you look at every successful entrepreneur or any business person, they've always had a lot of roadblocks, a lot of things that they've gone through. And so it's their will to succeed. They're looking past those limitations to where they want to go. And that really encapsulates that. It's how they move forward.
Very good. Very good. And Miss Jackie Black, Harrison Mills, I'm sorry. What did you get out of that passage?
I was going to say, don't skip me now, please. Along with it. Hey, so the one thing, I guess, is that step further. So not just the failures, but if you continue going through those failures and continue, like we were talking about, pumping water. And as you continue pumping, and some people stop, and this probably just takes 2 more pumps, and here comes that water, you know, but we all stop right before the 2 or so pumps, just every now and again. But if we continue going a step further, what could we become?
Oh, that's good. What could we become? We kept going. Miss Jackie Black?
That's it. You have to have the courage to go forward. If you keep that negative mindset, you will not go anywhere. You have to say, look, I can do this in spite of. Then you will see the success at the end.
Oh, I like that. Also on page 5, the second half of the page, it talks about the greatest barrier to their recovery is their own fear and self-doubt installed by their current experiences. What would you say about that, Ms. Williams?
You know, as I look back on my career and as not only as a nurse, but my career as a entrepreneur, negativity is all around us, and you have to figure out a way to get away from it, because without it, it'll keep holding you down and you'll never succeed.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Very good point. Mr. Bob Myers, what would you say?
You know, what I got out of that, I mean, I was born a young man and I was fearless. We're not born with fear. And through life, we get all these things and these people that give us this negative attitudes and say that you can't do this and you can't do that. And they push us into a box when we're really designed to live way outside that box. We're designed with a purpose and a meaning. And by pushing through that, we really achieve our true purpose, our soul.
Wow, that's a very good one. Let's go to Miss Harrison Mills. I'm not skipping you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love that, Mr. Bob Myers, our soul, that portion of that. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit from what you were saying. Most real failures is what kind of holds us back. And all I can think is that stinking adversary. That's the first thing I'm going to say. That stinking adversary is good at what he does, you know, but there's something that is greater, other self, which I think as higher self, just from that main thing. So just going higher than that. If we can just continue, let's take it as failure. It's an event, not a person.
Wow. Jackie Black?
That's
Your
it.
comments.
I agree with you, Mr. Mills. Plus, but looking at that section, I think of with myself how I had a mentor that instilled in me, get rid of that fear, Jackie. Why are you feeling? You know you can do this. The college I went to, they said you have a blank education. Use it. So that's something I kept in mind, and it helps get rid of the negativity and instills that positivity in your mind, and it doesn't leave place for the devil.
Wow, that was powerful. You guys got some great answers on here. Well, let's go to page 6. Halfway through the page, it says beginning life anew. What does that mean to you, Miss Kathryn Williams? Beginning life anew. Is that a new mindset, new thoughts? What would you say about that?
Beginning life anew is a new mindset, Mr. Thomas. I find it with each day and each new book I read, my mind changes and I keep stretching myself and growing. Growth that didn't happen prior to this growth I'm having now.
Very good. Very good. Bob Myers?
You know, I really believe that, you know, we're not promised tomorrow, but every new day that we have is a new start. We can't change what's happened in the past. We can't do anything in the future, but if we live in the day with our goals and our dreams and move forward, that we will truly achieve what we want to. That's the positive thing that we can do in that, you know, beginning life anew every day.
Renewing of your spirit every day. I like that. Mr. Mills?
Love it. Love it. Just beginning life anew. It reminds me of spring water, just refreshing, something that is refreshing. And just to say this is that, I guess, of a new creation. We get a new, brand new day. God gives us a new, brand new day every day. And all we have to do is, what are you going to do with it? It's new. You get to create it. It's something fresh. It's something new beginning, a life new. I love it.
Yeah, like we have a brand new canvas to go paint a beautiful mirror or picture on it for that day. I love it. Miss Jackie Black, what was your thoughts on that?
Beginning life anew. I think of when you have a career change. I went from working in the nonprofit to being an entrepreneur, and the mind changed from employee to, I'm the CEO, and doing things a little different, saying, gee, how can I handle this? Oh, really? Okay. Sometimes you may talk to yourself. Sometimes you may talk to your mastermind group. We might get into that later, But these are things, beginning life anew, looking at things differently, feeling differently inside.
You guys got some fantastic answers. I love you guys really got in the book and studied these questions and studied that book and these chapters. On page 11, I'm going to talk half the way to the page there. It says the worst of all human ailments is indecision. Indecision. How would you answer that, Miss Williams?
Decision is a proposal put in front of someone to start a new business, and I go, well, where a true entrepreneur will say, I'm going for it. But indecision, I see all around me, and yeah, the devil is always out there trying to make us to be indecisive.
Yeah, I think no decision is indecision. I totally agree. Bob Myers?
Boy, that one definitely hit me hard. I know back in the great downturn that, I went through a terrific time, lost about 800,000, bunch of debt, IRS debt. But I know that through that, I pushed through it. It took me a long time. And I would say to anybody, boy, you ought to grab this book, because if you can know these answers before it happens, it can really change the amount of time it takes for you to recover and to move forward in your life.
Wow, that's great. I think a lot of entrepreneurs understand part of winning is losing, but getting up and going at it again. That's real powerful. Mr. Mills, how would you, what'd you get out of that?
Hey, I had to look it up. I'm gonna just be honest, indecisive. I had to look that one up. And what it gave me was this settling, not settling an issue. And so the first thing I think about is not settling a problem. And that's what I love about entrepreneurs. They are problem solvers. They look for they want to be decisive. They want not indecisive, but be decisive, meaning I want to solve that problem. I want to find the solution. I want to look for it. It's almost like a mathematician looking for a problem, and they continue going, trying to solve it until they figure it out, And once they do, they solve world problems sometimes. So it just makes me wonder, what is it that I need to solve?
Very good. Very good. Miss Black?
Yes, indecision. You're in limbo when you're indecisive about something. When you're making that decision, that's something, solving the problem, as Mr. Mills said, as well as making a commitment to something. A lot of us do not want to make a commitment because we say, oops, what if I fail? Instead of saying, what if I succeed?
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think the second part of this on page 11, where Hill took advantage of his temporary defeat, which we just talked about, and he used that to spur him on, to force him into his other self. And it takes energy, it takes courage. What would you guys say about that, Ms. Williams?
It does take a lot of courage, and it takes more courage in the times when we have an economy like we've got today. It takes more courage to just say, push through it, find that solution.
Yeah, and I like that. In other words, figure it out. Figure it out. It's our word for the week, right? Bob Myers, because I mean, you went through this 800,000 in the hole and fought your way back. That pushed you. So tell us about, what did you?
I think the key that I took out of this was temporary defeat, and defeat can be overwhelming. And the quicker you can take that defeat and turn it into learning and move forward, doesn't matter if it's a big leap, one little step, you will overcome that quickly. And I know during that time, it took me over a year to overcome that. But now I've learned that you have to attack that immediately. And so that's what I got out of this.
I love it. I love what you said. Attack it immediately. Go forward. Go towards it. Not away from it, but go towards it and defeat it. I love that. Mr. Mills.
That was really good. I'm going to tag off of what Mr. Bob Meyer says, like attacking. with it. That is something. It's really easy just to mull over something. You know, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. As what was that, Jim Rohn, that said something like that?
Yeah.
And it just has me to, I guess, to think of this. Not only that, but I think in that passage that you're speaking of, he found a way to plumage through, right? As he did that, he also looked at and thought about his team that was around him. He wasn't just a lone wolf. You can do it, but he noticed this. He needed other people to help lift him up, which is a community having you to lift you up. Sometimes you need that. Just hold my crutches just for a second. Not all the time, but just to push me a little bit, you know? And so that's what I love about this group. Thank you all for that.
You're welcome. I love the word team. TEAM stands for together, each achieves more. And if you notice in the word, there's no I in team. It's help. We all need help. There's no such thing as a self-made person. We all had somebody there helping us. What would you say about that, Ms. Black?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Mr. Thomas, and everything that Kathryn, Bob, and Harrison said as well. You need that person to push you on, and even that other self to say, yes, I can do this. Because, I know even with myself, I was at a point where physically I couldn't do some things, and I was getting, how you call it, the doldrums with that. And I had to, how they say, put your big girl output mentality.
Yeah.
Put that big girl mentality on and say, come on, you can't let that keep you down.
That's right.
You can still do this. You have the skills, and just thinking of the positive and pushing that negative out of my mind. And then I took some action. And then I was happy because I said, you didn't fail, did you? No. Keep on going a little at a time and having that team. And even that team could be one or two people saying, you can make it, and telling yourself, I can make it.
You can make it. You guys are amazing tonight. When I think about this, the next thing we'll talk about on page 13, you talk about the doubt makes its appearance. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit before I get Ms. Kathryn Williams' comment. I've always said on one shoulder, you have that little devil, oh, you can't do it. And you have the other angel, you can do this, you can do this. And what are you feeding that day? Are you listening to the devil telling you can't be this because your mom and dad, sister, brother, sister, or are you feeding the angel that you can and getting around the positive? And also, if you let that angel grow, after a while, this devil just diminish and it just gets, you can barely hear him because you let the belief come in, the people around you, your team help you to overcome that. What would you say, Ms. Kathryn Williams?
I agree with you. And I have from personal experience, when I begin to pick up that negativity, I immediately say, get out of here, you devil. You're not appreciated in this house. This is the Lord's house and only the Lord's house. And I will pick up my Bible and start reading. And usually in Proverbs, but I will just open it anywhere and start reading. And it changes the whole focus of the day. I may also pick up the phone and call a friend and say, I need help.
Very good. Very good. I need help. Looking for that help. There you go. Mr. Myers?
Boy, doubt is a slippery thing that slides right in. It starts out like a grain of sand. And if you don't address it, then it ends up into a boulder and a mountain. It's like everything really in life is that you've got to address it immediately, move forward and push forward. And that doubt, like you say, it will slowly disappear and go away. So
I love it. I love the great answer. Mr. Mills.
So I'm going to say this. This isn't our first book that we've been through. So I'm going to say that. We went through another book this reminds me of, as you say that quote, doubt makes its appearance. And it reminds me of when we went through 10x is greater than 2x. By Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And as we were speaking about that, he reminds us to go look at our past. How many times have you 10x'd in your past? You use your stories, because if it's been done then, what can happen in your future? And you sit in that present, take it to your present, and you move forward to your future so that you can 10x.
I love it. Great answer. Wow. Look at you. Yep, ladies and gentlemen, we do other book studies, but tonight, like I said, it's our first all things business book review, and we're going to have a lot more in the future. So thank you for that, going back in the past, because we do study books here. Miss Jackie Black, what would you say to that?
Oh man, I have to come behind you, Mr. Mills. Okay. I have to agree with Kathryn. I will open my Bible and read. I know even in our daily group that we have at noon, where every day a book of Proverbs is read. And we get a scripture, and that scripture is an encouragement. That doubt over here and that devil over here, the positive will say, get out of here.
Yeah.
I got this. And we have to have that strong, I know it myself, that strong faith in God.
Yeah.
And that's what will move you. When that doubt, it could go like Mr. Meyer was saying that little bit, and it can grow. But the power of God and his word will go,
Yep.
get down, and you could keep moving forward.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we read Proverbs every morning. There's 31 books of Proverbs. Every day you can read a book for every day of the month. Start the month off, read the same scripture, and you'll get a different meaning. So there's power in that little black book. BIBLE stands for Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. Now, on page 14, I'm going to go into what he said. He says, the urge to continue was stronger. Well, I love that. Was stronger than the desires to quit, because he worked through it. He says, remember that time when you want to quit, but sometimes drove him to keep going. It may have been his other self. What do you think about that, Ms. Williams? That pushed through.
Push through, yes. When I hit a time of doubt and want to quit, I go back to why I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and just, it's the big thing that keeps me going and pushing through. There's, as an entrepreneur, we start out with this big idea and want to get there and go. But as time goes along and there's more problems that we don't think we can solve, the true entrepreneur pushes through it and keeps going until they get what they want.
Wow, that's true. Never quit, never slow down, never stop until they defeat that and get to their goal. Mr. Myers, thank you, dear.
I think really this is kind of the core of what he's talking about in the book, your inner self. This is what it's really about, because it draws you through those roadblocks, through all those troubles and perils, and you learn through those and figure how to navigate them. But what it does is it draws you toward the prize, your victory, which is really in your soul. Your core is what the victory is that you're looking for. And I believe that's your inner self.
Wow, that's a great answer. Mr. Mills?
This is I would say other self. He says other self. I'm saying higher self. That's how I see it. What is so fascinating, you know that this book was written in 1938 and it wasn't released till 2011. And so talk about desire. How many people knocked down with not publishing, but his desire, that's 80 years. And here it is. He went through this just through his granddaughter and continued going all the way through there, just to show you what passion can do. And also the power of goals. What having a goal and the importance of having that goal and making sure that it's met.
Very good. Wow. Miss Jackie Black. Wow. Man, you really did some digging in that 80 years. I love it. Yeah. Miss Jackie Black.
I keep telling you, all right now, you want to dig? We got to dig further now. As Kathryn was saying, how that reason why am I doing this? That reason why will propel you to keep going forward. And that positive will say, look, I can't fail. I've come too far. And you look at your past, different experiences, and you say, okay, went through that, got up, went through that, got up. Okay. Have that burning desire. That reason why. Now I think of my reason why with my grandchildren. I want them to have a legacy. When they look at my picture, they'll say, Jackie. Well, they won't call me Jackie. They'll say, Nana. He didn't leave us a legacy of debt. She left us a legacy of wealth.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Because that passion and that reason why was strong. The urge to continue was stronger than the desire to quit.
Wow. You know, you guys inspired me. This all things business book review tonight is amazing. I hope people out there around the world are getting a blessing out of this. I don't know about you, but it's blessing me by hearing these other people go through the book. And ladies and gentlemen, we want you to pick the book up and go through it, or just learn from what we do and highlight it. I'm going to go over to chapter 2 now, because there's a lot to go through. I want to go to chapter 2. I'm going to go to page 32, believe it or not. And it says on page 32, the darkest hours is just before the dawn, DAWN. There used to be a program in the Bay Area when I was a young buck coming up and starting investing and everything, called DAWN. And it came on at 6 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. And it was dawn spelled DAWN. It stood for Dynamic Achievers World Network. And it was out of Florida, and all these positive speakers from W. Clement Stone to famous Amos would be on there in the morning. I used to get up in the morning, just couldn't wait to watch it at 6 in the morning. What a great way to start your day off. But today we're going to go on page 32. Your darkest hours is just before the dawn. Miss Williams.
Darkest hours just before the dawn says to me, 3 feet reminds me of 3 feet from goal. You keep going and going and going. And knowing the people on this call, my co-hosts on this call, we all get up at that dark hour before dawn, because for us, that's our most precious time to get our day going. My day starts at 4:30 in the morning, West Coast time. And yeah, I know yours.
4 o'clock.
And that first hour and a half of my day is time with the Lord, the time. So as the sun comes up, I sit there, I step outside on my back patio and thank God for everything he has given me. It's a re-enlightening for me each morning.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's a great way to start. Attitude of gratitude, gratification. Mr. Myers.
Well, definitely I've had some dark hours in my life, and some of them I'm overcome and some I haven't, I'll admit. But I truly believe that the darkest hour is the ultimate test for whatever you're doing. It sets you up, and it's like the universe, anything, it has ebbs and flows and balances. And if you don't push through that, you slide back into something else, and somebody actually achieves that success that you were heading for. So it really is, without a darkest hour, you can really never be successful.
That's true. There's no test, no testimony without the test. There you go. Mr. Harrison Mill, thank you, sir.
Wow. I'm trying to figure out which way to go with this, with some of the things that have been said. Great things. So the darkest hour is just before dawn. Man, I guess I'm going to just summarize some things. Jim Rohn is one of my favorites. And so he says some things. What is the next 10 years going to look like? Like the next 10 years. That's what it's going to look like. After winter comes spring. After day, then comes night. After expansion comes recession. And after recession comes expansion. And so all he's saying is there's going to be always opportunity mixed with difficulties, and difficulty mixed with opportunities. And it's just, sometimes there's more opportunities and less difficulties. And sometimes there's more difficulties than opportunities. But at the same time, it's the same mix. It's the same mix. So that's pretty good. It lets me know that there's hope. I can be my higher self with it. So
I like that answer. That was great. Wow. Miss Jackie Black, you got to follow behind him again.
I'm like,
that's because Jackie's a pro.
It's like what everyone said, I agree with. And it came to mind how sometimes you could be working on something all night. You writing something, scratch it out. Writing something, scratch it out. Then you just sit and you're like, difficult. Then you have that aha moment of, that's it. And it could be right before dawn. But you've been toiling with it, going back and forth with it. Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? But that aha moment is just before dawn.
Wow. You guys got some great answers tonight. This has been fantastic. I'm going to run over to page 34. And this is a really good one on 34. It says the only limitation, I'll say it again, The only limitation is the one which we set up in our own minds. Wow, this is going to be a good. This is going to be a good one. We're starting with you, Miss Williams, again.
I'm sitting here laughing because I think over my 76 years of life, how many times I have set limits in my own mind, which, oh my God, I sit back and look and go, you could have done A, B, C, D, E, and F, and why didn't you? Because it was all up here. And it's like, the more books I pick up and read, the more I know I can do A, B, C, D, E, and F, because I've got it in my mind I can do it. And I'm working very hard to get rid of those limitations because I know God's working with me to do it.
There you go. Very good. And it's so true. We don't push ourselves. And I like that. Once we discover we can do that, we do it. We're like, I could have did this a long time ago, or I could complete it this long time ago. And then we set it and then we stretch ourselves more. Great answer. Mr. Myers?
Boy, limitations in your mind, that is definitely one. I found that, when I started my construction business 30, 40 years ago, that I really didn't set a plan. I didn't set goals, but I had no limitations. My mind was focused on where I wanted to go. It probably definitely took me longer than it should have, but because I didn't allow those limitations to overcome me, I kept focused on where I wanted to go. The prize is the reason I got it. So I think having no limitations is really the key to anything successful.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go. Very good answer. Mr. Mills?
That's good. Limitations on your, just limitations on yourself, I guess, has me just thinking what kind of, where could I go? How far can I go with it? The limitations, what does they say? Your worst enemy is yourself. Your worst enemy is yourself. But from reading this book, they're saying, hey, there's some aid to that. Actually, there's someone whispering to help you become your worst enemy. On top of that, to actually be able to go for it. So it's not just the limitations I put on myself, but like you were saying, you have that little one, that little devil, you have that little angel right there. Which one are you going to listen to? Which one is going to get you going through the day, kind of thing. And so I even love the calls that we have together. We have these leadership calls in the morning that really just lift us up, just so we can go out there and say, go. Just put a little fire to your, to your rear, and then here you go for it. So I love it.
Thank you, sir. Which one are you going to feed, the angel or the devil that day? There you go. Miss Jackie Black?
The limitations we put on ourselves, mercy Jesus. I tell you, we can just get ourselves in a little cocoon saying, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Why can't you do it? Oh, you might get a call. You're trying to do that? Oh, come on, you can't do that. Then you get another call. Yes, you can do it. Why not? But
wow.
You have to make up in your mind, I can do it. And stop listening to all that negativity. I've been there too, like Mr. Myers. I've been there.
We all have.
To push forward and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Give it my all. And get that, you have to come out of it. Boom. And go forward.
I love those answers. Now I've got a 1 ounce gold coin here. On page 35 at the bottom, it says, my other self has not disappointed me. So if we push hard, the negative, we push hard, we can flip that coin around to the positive, and now we made it through the push through. Miss Kathryn Williams.
And as I push through everything with the help of my other self, which never disappoints me.
There you go.
And I always listen for that other self. Some people refer to the other self, and for many years I did too, was my intuition. I knew when something was going to happen. I knew when I had to go talk to somebody. I knew that if I didn't do it, the devil won and not the Lord. And when I did it, the Lord always won. So yes, my other source was always there at the proper time, showing me where I needed to be.
Perfect. That's a good one. Mr. Myers?
Well, like I said, my other self, my higher self. I mean, think of this. We were all created unique, special. We have unlimited power, unlimited knowledge. We can do anything we want when we have our inner self, when we tap into our soul, our being. If we can concentrate on that, we can overcome any obstacle. We can overcome the devil. And that's really the core of the book.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great answer.
Beautiful. Hey, you can send that gold coin over to Fresno, California. With that, I need that in my life. Let me first put that out.
Well, we're dropping gold nuggets tonight.
Oh, yes, you
Get
are.
it?
Yes,
Gold
you are.
nuggets. We're dropping gold nuggets tonight.
Hey, so what I was going to say is just this simple. You have told me this is there are three sides to a coin. The front, the back, and the edge. And so where are you living at? On the edge? And there is where the other self, the higher self is.
That's right. You're a very good student, Grasshopper. Go to head of class. Miss Jackie Black?
That other self is that part of you that has that faith. As the scripture says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That other self is your cheerleader. That other self is the power of God in you, saying you can do it.
That's right. Because he doesn't make junk. On page 41, I love this on page 41. I'll read it. It says, for everything you have missed, you have gained something else. And for everything you gain, you lose something else. I take that as you gain in knowledge and you move into that direction and move into those gifts, you lose the things that you don't need so you can take off like a rocket ship. Miss Kathryn Williams?
Not only that, but speaking of something that Harrison said earlier, how 10x is so much easier than 2x. You have to get rid of what that 80%, shove it off to somebody else and shoot for your 20%. And you can keep building and building from there. And yeah, you gain by losing the 80%.
Wow. Very good. So true. Get rid of what you don't need and bring on what you do need to get to the next level. Bob Myers?
Well, definitely the law of compensation is unilaterally, it's seen and unseen, it's everything. The tide rises when we're at one place and it lowers in another. A bunch of butterflies move in the Congo and there's a storm across the world. Everything is equal. And so if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. It's the power of everything. The power of achievement is in that.
Yeah. I think a little bit part down further says every suffering is rewarded. As we suffer, we reward by getting new things, new tools to be able to get us to the next level. What about you, Mr. Mills?
Love it. Going with the same thing, it reminds me of an old prophet saying that you go through the fire. By going through the fire, you refine. Things are shut off, things are some ashes, and certain things are getting off of you. But as you go through it, and once you get to the other end, you turn into this very rare specimen of a piece of a masterpiece that comes with it. But then along with it, let's say something is like attached to you. So going to that same thing, maybe I'm going to go with the thorn. And this is where it says like, hey, maybe that might not be removed from you. It might still stick on you. And with that, this is where grace, gratitude, being thankful, knowing that, having those things with you, it's a constant reminder that, I had help doing this. As he calls, what does he call it? The infinite intelligence or universal mind of it. And so actually taking those things and having with gratitude along with it, knowing I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah, that's powerful. Wow. Thank you. Miss Black?
Here we go. I look at it as personal development as we're reading these books, as we're building skills. And Kathryn mentioned about the 80-20. Yes, you're getting rid of those things, but you're growing. You're growing within, you're growing in your mind, you're growing in actions that you're doing.
Very good. Thank you, dear. Growing in action you're doing. I'm going to hop over to page 45 and I'm going to read a little something. It says in the middle of the paragraph there, may we all make an inventory of our blessings in life and give thanks for every gift that we have been given. Isn't that amazing? You know, for me in the morning, I get up at 4 o'clock, but this morning I was up at 3:30. God had me up earlier. I get up with the attitude of gratitude. I think of several things I'm grateful for and thankful for as I watch the sun come up, have my hot tea, but also make it an inventory of being so grateful. You know, I look at it this morning as it gets dark around the world today or this evening. You know, there's a boat leaving out of Cuba that want to go 91 miles north to a place called Miami, and the boat is followed by sharks every night, knowing that somebody's going to fall in the water because the boat should only have 30 people. It's got 50, and knowing they got a free meal because somebody's coming to America because they want a better gift, a better lifestyle for themselves. And here we have so much to be grateful for that we don't sometimes take a moment to look back, as like the leopards in the Bible says, say thank you. One of them turned back to say thank you. So it's always good to give inventory of thanking God for the blessings that we have every day. What would you say about that, Miss Kathryn Williams?
Blessings every day. I do two blessings a day and sometimes more. When I get out of bed, as my feet are hitting the bed, the first thing I thank God for is waking me up, because I know somebody my age did not wake up this morning. And when I go to bed in the evening, I thank God for things I have around me, the house I live in, that things, the material things, but I also thank God for the spiritual things and for my family and my friends and my entrepreneurship. It's the blessings that God has given me all through my life that I thank him for repeatedly.
Wow, perfect. That's so true. Love it. Mr. Myers?
Yes, definitely. I think blessings are important, but even more than that is your gratefulness for them. I think when you are grateful for the things, the smallest things, a special person in your life, something that happened that day, whatever it is, when you show that gratitude towards that, it opens up your mind and your soul to accept more. It takes that negativity and throws it off to the side, and it prepares you to accept the great things that God has for you, that the universe has for you. It opens up your heart and soul to make a difference, to be better than you were the day before.
Beautiful.
I like that answer, and it allows you to think and give more. I love that. Thank you so much. Mr. Mills, I see you were ready to chime in on that one.
That was beautiful. I can talk on this subject all day long. This is one of my favorite subjects, but making an inventory of your blessings. That is just powerful to me. So okay, don't judge me. Okay, this is one of my favorite musicals during Christmas is White Christmas. Okay, with Bing Crosby. So if anyone's heard it, I've seen it.
I'm thinking of it. Go ahead.
That way, there you go. And so one of the songs he sings is "Count Your Blessings Instead of Sheep." And I just love it. It basically the song saying he falls asleep counting his blessings. Why worry? Kind of thing. And I can listen to that all the time. But like I said, don't judge me. That's one of my favorites. And that's what that reminded me of when you said that.
I know what to play on your birthday when I call you now. Miss Jackie Black.
Inventory of blessings. It makes me think of how in the morning I will do journaling and just write down, thanking the Lord for different things, even waking up, thanking the Lord for even everyone on this call, because each of you are a blessing in my life. And just dwelling on positive, what God has done and where I believe he's taking me to.
Wonderful. I'm going to skip over to page 46 in chapter 2. And it said halfway down the page, every individual has the power, I love this, to change his or her material and financial status by first changing the nature of his or her belief. Wow. Miss Williams.
So true. So true. You get rid of the negativity and everything changes. You can go forward faster. You can achieve both the financial and the material things you want. But if you sit there and let the negativity occupy your mind, you can't solve the problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Mr. Myers?
I love this one, actually, this paragraph. It is so true. I mean, the world, the government, the people around us want to give us excuses why we can't succeed, why we can't do this, why we can't move forward. And the power is in us. All the power is in us. It's in our core, it's in who we are, it's in our decision. We have multiple whys in the road every day. The question is, are you going to take the road less traveled? Or are you going to take the road that everybody thinks you should? And that's where the real power becomes. The road less traveled leads you to you, who you are, your purpose, your core.
Wonderful. Wow, that's so true. It's all in our core. Everything we need is within us. Mr. Mills?
You know, everyone has the power. I'm gonna go personal with this. Loss of job for me, loss of children. So not just from a business standpoint, but also from family or from spiritual in that same sense, you know. And you can have your moment and pout, kick, do what you want to do, you know, have that moment, but don't stay there. There's the nature part of the belief. And so you're already at rock bottom. And so all you can say is, well, it's only up from here, you know. Where else can you go?
As I was saying, some people they're so far down they could reach up and scratch an ant on the belly. There's nowhere to go but up at this point. Miss Jackie Black?
Oh, yes. The power to change his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs. We all go through that. I've been through that. Where I had to say, look, Jackie, this is a temporary situation. It's not going to last always. And keep moving forward. Sometimes it may be you change where you live. Sometimes it may be a change of job. But inside that core belief saying, okay, and keep going.
Wow. Well, the last thing on this, on chapter 2 on page 47, before we go into the third chapter, it says on page 47, faith is the beginning of all great achievements. I am all about that because you got to have faith. Without faith, there's very little you can do without faith. Miss Kathryn Williams, you want to chime in on that one?
Very true. And if Edison hadn't had faith, we wouldn't have all of the electricity we have today. Many of our great inventors, if they hadn't had faith, Ford, we would still be in horse and buggy. Let's face it, guys. You go through everything. Even today, the people that are working on tomorrow's great accomplishments have faith in what they're doing. And with faith, you don't see what other people say as failures. They just say, it didn't work that way, and keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That didn't work. Back up and try it again another way. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember reading that Thomas Edison failed 1,877 times. And there was a reporter who said, how's it feel to fail that many times? And Edison scratched the back of his head and he says, you don't understand, young man. I found 1,877 ways it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And he kept going. I love that. Mr. Myers, what's your comments on that?
Definitely, Mr. Thomas, you hit that nail on the head there. You know, without faith, we're lost. You could have a plan, you could have everything in place, but without faith, without believing in you, what you're doing, the people that are around you, the things that you come up against, without the faith of your goals and your dreams, then dreams are just dreams. They become nothing without faith.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harrison Mills. So true. Faith is the core. Mr. Mills?
The core, it is the beginning. Faith is the beginning of good achievement, as you said. And I'm not I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm going to put that out. But that little book says something about a mustard seed. And a mustard seed is about this small. It's about this small. And all it has me think is saying that all you need is that much faith. And if you tell a mountain to move, it will move. Just that much, you know? So I think it's not just a great achievement, but just a little bit of ounce of what it can do just to even inspire yourself.
Love it. Man, that's powerful. Miss Black.
When you said that mustard seed face, Mr. Mills, when it grows wild. It just
Mm,
takes over. And it just made me think of even today, how 5 women went up in the air, 5 astronaut women, and they said that's the first. Who would have thought that?
mm.
And they came back down, and family and friends hugged them. So that faith, that can move mountains. We just have to believe and keep that up here in our mind and not let go of it.
Love it. Well, we're going to enter chapter 3 real quick. We got a few more minutes here. Chapter 3, a strange interview with the devil. And this is like the devil's actually talking to people. The audio, if you guys out there around the world get the audio, it's kind of spooky. I don't know what a devil sounds like, but it's spooky enough to sound like it could be a real devil. And the way he talks about what he does to hold people back. And on page 58 says, here begins the interview with the devil. What'd you guys get out of the interview with the devil? And what you might have got out of this chapter, this round robin whole chapter? You know what? I'm going to start off on page, let me do this. Page 61. I'm going to just give one thing I got, and you guys should share what you got out of the whole chapter. On page 61, it says, said the devil, one of my cleverest devices for mind control is fear. The fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. 6 fears he named that he uses as clever devices for mind control over the masses. What do you guys have to say about that?
Mr. Thomas, this is Kathryn Williams from Sacramento. That's one of the biggest things that stood out for me. And it goes back to what he says on page 58, where he answers Mr. Hill and says, you should know I control 98% of the people of the world. And it's that control which you see people, I see people around me, and I've had that control reached out to me at times of poverty, ill health, loss of a loved one in old age, and especially, and death. And it's things that we see with many people around us. And the way he can use it, the devil uses it every chance he gets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. He does. And the way you combat that is understand his trickery, and you can combat that. So great. That was a great answer. What about you, Mr. Myers? What'd you get out of that?
I agree with the audio. It is so real. I've listened to it a few times, read the book a few times, and it really does bring out kind of the essence of that discussion and that talk. And it's amazing how he brings that all together and puts you right in that position, like you're actually there right next to him asking the questions to the devil. And the devil uses worldly things, like fear of, criticism, death, things like that. And it takes me, this beginning of this chapter takes me back to, I remember that I am unique. We are unique. Humanity is unique on this world, on this earth. There is nothing that compares to us, nothing. And through that, we have the ability to overcome it. Do we succumb to it sometimes? Absolutely. The devil uses that trickery very well. But this starts to open up my mind to know that how I can combat it, how I can move forward through it, and how I can take myself to a different level, a different plane to overcome these trickery things that he does. Because at the end of the day, he's tricking us into actually what he's saying, poverty, death, everything else in our lives. And if we can move out of that, we will rise above that and live a fulfilled life that we were really meant to live.
Yeah. I call it fear taxes. Fear, Fear. False. First of all, they're false. He's trying to educate you on what appears real. And it's all false education appearing real. But some people embrace it. Some people live for fear. I mean, but here again, we gives us tips how we can overcome that. Very good, Mr. Myers. Mr. Mills?
Love it. So just there's lots I can say right now, but so like you're saying, the six, the poverty, the criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death, all these different fears, which really stems from failure. In those sense. And so this is one of my another speaker I like to listen to is Craig Rochelle. And he speaks about it all stemming from failure, which is the biggest fear. But the biggest pain is regret with it. But the reminder here is failure is an event and never a person, never bold capitalize a person. So it needs to stem from those things and to also just kind of prevalent, put it into our world, which we've been speaking about. And I've heard that you speak about, Mr. Thomas, that the way that they pump fear in us, money, to media, and then 3, medical. And right now, I can say meal. So our food, how we do things with our food, and all you see these little different contaminations and things like that. All these little things just to kind of hey, you guys sometimes see me in my backyard, and you think I'm just kind of just hanging out, but I'm growing a garden to let you know I'm gonna solve a problem right now. So I love it. That's the whole thing from the whole thing of what it's saying is just that it tries to put failure in us, tries to put some kind of fear in us, and there's a way out of there. That mustard seed.
Yeah, there's a way how you control the population with fear. There's so much fear today. We got this political against this one, this national against this one, not to, just to publicize it, but, and that's how they control people with the fear. If they can't have a war, so they got to figure another war, another fear, got to keep you always running in fear. When if you're grounded, you can see through all this and know that it's just put out there for you to fear.
Great conversation.
Yeah. So I don't fear any of that because I know where my source is, and I also know the lies that have been told. And we all do, I guess, as we grow older and as we get around people with like-minded, like this book club here or this book review. And that's why I love it tonight. All things business book review has been amazing. Miss Jackie Black, what would you say? Just chime in on this.
Ooh, with chapter 3, that was some chapter. I look at how he says the main points that serve him most is poverty, the fear of poverty and death. And he says that the amount of space that it occupies in your mind. If you let those two occupy a lot of space in your mind, then you're crippled. You're crippled. And he had mentioned how the people that think, those are the people that go forward, thinking positive, thinking they can do, and not just staying bound by the fear of, oh, I'm going to stay poor, or, oh, I'm going to die today, tomorrow. But not giving all that space in your mind, but thinking of moving forward. Yes, you acknowledge, okay, this happened there, but going forward. And he said 98% of the world he controls. He said the other 2 is positive, and that's God. But we have to know that God is greater than the devil. This book is called Outwitting the Devil, not succumbing to the devil,
Right?
But outwitting him. And that's what we do through our mind. Don't give a whole lot of space in your mind.
They
say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So don't be idle, be busy.
There you go. And positive thing. Mr. Mills?
Love it. Hey, I'm just tagging on to her. Now, that was a good synopsis of that chapter. Let me say that. But also adding along with what she says, it says, and I'm not sure which page it is, but it basically says this with the devil saying, I ask no person to believe in me. I prefer that people fear me. You don't need to believe me at all. Just fear me. That's all. Once you fear me, and like you said, then now have you control poverty. You can control me. You will believe in me because you fear me. That's deep.
It is. It's mind controlling. I remember when I was married, my mother-in-law, I'd go to her house, and every time I went to her house, she was watching CNN. And it was always negative after negative. And I'll walk in the door. Hey, did you hear about it? I said, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it because this does not affect my life. She was so engrossed. Everything was negative in her life, everything. And I would hate to go to her house because she would always have CNN on, stands for continued negative news, I think. Well, anyway, I just couldn't stand it because it was everything kind of out of my mouth was negative. And I just could not stand it. So we have to, the 2%ers are the ones who understand we got to surround ourselves with like-minded people like ourselves and hopefully bring other people into the fold to help them understand that you can control the way your mind is. One of the songs that I love by Jim Rohn is called Controlling Your Mind. It's Battle in Your Mind by Jim Rohn. It's a hip hop version. And it's so amazing because it talks about this. Your mind is the most sought after real estate in the world is your mind. And how you control your mind and what you do with your mind is also very important. So you have to take control and feed it good things, good stuff in, good stuff out. Unfortunately, most people got negative going in, a hoop hop, all this goofy music and craziness coming out, especially today's climate. So with that said, does anybody have anything you want to share tonight before we close our first of many calls on our All Things Business book review? Does anybody have anything you want to share tonight?
Mr. Thomas, Jackie Black from Connecticut. We have to be careful what we watch,
Yes.
what we listen to. Our company, the company that you keep. They say birds of a feather flock together. Make sure that your company is positive. If it's negative, you're going down. Stay around positive people and smile.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else want to share before we close our first of many? Tonight's kickoff has been very successful. I thank everybody in our listening audience out there from around the world. We want to thank you. We want to thank Miss Kathleen Williams. We want to thank Mr. Bob Myers from Reno. And we want to thank Kathleen Williams from Sacramento. Mr. Harrison Mill is from Fresno, California. Jackie Black's from Connecticut. Mr. Bree Clemens is from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm right here in a little old small broke down little small town called Las Vegas, Nevada, where there's no lights. Just joking. I want to say thank you to our audience out there listening. We appreciate you guys so much. Tonight was our kickoff of All Things Business Book Review. Come on back next week, same time, 6 o'clock. Get it off started on the right. We had a little problem with technical, not on our end, but we thank you all for being with us tonight. We hope you guys got a lot out of this book, and it's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. His first book came out. It was called Think and Grow Rich. I call it the Bible of Business. Well, the number one Bible is the Bible, but the Bible of Business. But this book came out in 1938, and it's really powerful. And if you get the audio, like Mr. Meyer said, it's scary. I mean, I don't know what a devil, but boy, whoever did that audio is, man, it's.
I don't know if I can do it.
Well, it's scary. I'm just warning people. So, but then again, hopefully that'll wake you up to what you'll hear from the devil. But learn from it. Don't run from it, but learn from it and grow from it. The most important thing is grow from it. The book says, think and grow rich, not work hard and be fair. So thank you. Outwitting the Devil. I want to thank everybody tonight. So here again, we'll be back next week, same time for our next 3 chapters, chapter 4, 5, and 6. We'll be viewing next week. So come on back next week and join us again. Thank you all for the panel today. Take care from around the world. God bless everybody. Hope you guys got a lot out of this book.
Thank you, Mastermind.
The book. God bless.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Thomas.
you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you so much.
Amazing
Thank
book.
you, Mr. Bree Clemens. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful night. God bless.
Thank you.